This actually happened. In 1763, Prussia built a school system to control its people, and by the 1800s, America adopted it. Did you know the US education system was never meant to free your mind, but to chain it to a factory line? The dark secrets behind it will shock you. Picture a smoky industrial town in 19th century America. Factories hum, and kids as young as 10 march into classrooms that mirror those factories. Rows of desks, strict schedules, bells ringing like factory whistles. This wasn't by accident. The US copied Prussia's education model, designed in 1763 to create obedient citizens, not critical thinkers. Political scientist Agustina Paglian argues it was about state control, teaching kids to follow rules, not question them. By the early 1900s, industrialists like John D. Rockefeller shaped this system. His General Education Board dumped $129 million into schools, but his goal wasn't empowerment. "I don't want a nation of thinkers. I want a nation of workers," he said. Schools became assembly lines, teaching punctuality, obedience, and just enough reading to follow orders. The National Education Association in 1914 warned that Rockefeller and Carnegie were hijacking education, standardizing it to serve their empires. But here's where it gets darker. The eugenics movement, peaking in the 1920s and 30s, turned schools into tools of segregation. Kids deemed unfit, often poor or non-white, were labeled feeble-minded and sent to institutions like Fernald School. Fred Boyce, a normal 8-year-old, was locked away for 11 years after his foster mother died. He wasn't taught. He was work tending gardens, enduring abuse, even cutting up brains for pointless experiments. Thousands of kids faced similar fates, warehoused to keep society pure. Eugenics wasn't just a Nazi idea, it thrived in America, and schools were complicit. Rehook 7 to 10 minutes. And just when you thought it couldn't get worse, the system evolved, but the control stayed. Enter John Taylor Gatto, a New York Teacher of the Year, who quit in disgust. In Dumbing Us Down, he exposed a hidden curriculum that's still alive today. Confusion, conformity, surveillance. Schools teach kids to memorize, not think, tying self-worth to grades. Gatto argued this creates empty children, stripped of creativity and independence. Imagine a kid, eager to learn, stuck in a system that punishes questions and rewards compliance. Today, the gaps are glaring. Underfunded schools in Black and Latino communities struggle. Only 35% of their fourth graders are reading proficiently, compared to 50% of white students. Social promotion pushes kids forward without skills, setting them up to fail. Meanwhile, the push for charter schools, backed by figures like Trump's education nominee Linda McMahon, drains public school funds, deepening inequality. Kozel's Shame of the Nation warned of this segregation, and it's only gotten worse. But the most shocking part is still ahead. Cyberattacks have hit over 300 schools since 2020, exposing sensitive data, social security numbers, medical records, even kids' trauma histories. In Danbury, Connecticut, 10,000 people's data hit the dark web in 2023. But schools stayed silent, guided by lawyers hiding behind attorney-client privilege. Families were left vulnerable to identity theft, clueless about the breach. Why the secrecy? Schools prioritize legal protection over transparency, betraying the trust of students and parents. And now, the system faces new threats. Far-right attacks, fueled by figures like Christopher Rufo, push to censor lessons on race and gender, calling them divisive. Since 2021, 23 states have passed gag orders, scaring teachers into avoiding topics like slavery or LGBTQ+ issues. In Florida, math books were rewritten to remove cultural references, like the history of TI, to avoid indoctrination. This isn't education, it's erasure, leaving kids with a sanitized version of history. The betrayal runs deeper. The system's flaws aren't accidents. They're by design. Schools were built to control, not liberate. And today's policies, privatization, censorship, defunding, keep that legacy alive. Imagine a student in an underfunded school, dreaming of a future, but stuck in a system that limits their potential. The irony. We're told education is the great equalizer, yet it's rigged to keep the powerful in power. What if the education system isn't broken but built this way on purpose? Who's really pulling the strings today? And what do they gain from keeping our kids in the dark? If this story shocked you, hit the like button and share your thoughts in the comments. I read them all. Subscribe for more deep dives into untold history.